to magnificent magnets. Yeah, that may be a wee bit of hyperbole. I mean, I think they're pretty magnificent, but that's kind of a big word. But, I like alliteration in my titles, and it's hard to find. I mean, there's other M words, but I was trying to kind of go with the whole mag thing. So magnanimous didn't really work, magnesium, so magnificent it is. And they will be as magnificent as you make them. But we will be using inkjet shrink plastic to create little, they're not quite 2D, not quite 3, I guess they're a little more 3D. I know they're not 2D, not completely flat, because you can pick them up and see you have dimension. With the shrink plastic, we're going to be building levels on our little artboard magnet backgrounds. And you'll find it's a great way to, well, one, if you kind of get into shrink plastic, it tends to develop to a point where you end up with a lot of little pieces because it's just fun. It's just fun to make, fun to do. So I wanted to start providing some tutorials of just different, throw some ideas at you and different things that you can do with these little pieces. And I love making these little vignettes, if you will. And so I hope you will enjoy it too. It's a great way, as I was saying earlier, and I don't think I finished my sentence, to use up paper scraps, all the little things you've been hoarding, glitter, washi tape, and then all the little plastic pieces all come together happily in these little assemblages or collages, if you will. Let's call them maybe 3D collages. They have depth, which we all strive for. But anyway, all right, so I will be back in just a sec with the start of your journey to make magnificent magnets. Enjoy. So you are going to start off this project by printing some imagery on your inkjet shrink plastic. I recommend the product that's made by Graphics Art Plastic, and you want to make sure it says white and inkjet. If you try and print on regular white opaque shrink film, that won't work. The ink will slide right off. So you can use your own imagery, or if you like, I do have an Etsy store that has images that have already been prepped for shrink plastic because they need to be sized, and also the imagery needs to be adjusted for the brightness, because as these pieces shrink, the ink becomes more dense and darker. So you're probably okay with doing it straight off your computer, whatever they're at. But if you really want to take the time and make them work really well with your shrink plastic, I would go in just the brightness, and you will probably be happier with the results. So after you have printed those out and let them dry, you cut them out and shrink them down per manufacturer's instructions. I use a toaster oven that's set at 325, and then you end up with these wonderful little plastic pieces, which I think are wonderful and so inspiring for all sorts of projects, especially small ones. And it's fun to print and cut out a bunch and then shrink them all, which the shrinking is the best part. And then you have all of these fabulous little plastic pieces that you can mix and match and do fun things with for your project. So when I saw these little mixed media art boards at my craft store, hobby store, this brand is by Art Bites, and basically it's just like Davy board with a textured and finished surface. It says you can paint on it, and oil or acrylic, chalks, crayons, pencils, markers, glue, and glitter. Well, there you go. It can take glitter. So I just thought these would be really fun little mini canvases to do some collages that feature the shrink plastic. And I have enjoyed collage for years, so I have quite a store of little paper scraps. And so this is a perfect project to utilize those scraps and make some fun little miniature pieces of art that you can keep for yourself or you can give away as gifts. I'd really intended to get this done before the holiday season, but it was the holiday season and that just didn't happen. So gift giving throughout the year. And please pardon if you haven't worked with me before, I do have a black cat. He's sitting in my lap right now, and black cat hair. So, but I digress. So let's get started. I'm going to use these that are the 2 by 3 inch pieces. And what I like to do, you could certainly paint or rubber stamp or do, you know, any manner of things to get a background on here, inks, that sort of thing. I personally like to, I go easy and I just put a piece of paper down and kind of work from there. So I might actually look over here and see who I want to work with. I like this little girl, and you can add, I don't know if you noticed on the imagery, the ones that I provide are always in black and white. You can easily add color to these with any form of pastel. The only thing I wouldn't recommend is using a water-based product like markers, because this is inkjet, and any water-based product can interact with the ink and make it run and turn funky colors, which could be a whole thing. But if you intend to go with a color that's what you put down, that's what you want it to be, then don't use a water base on that. So this one I've used chalk pastels and given her a little bit of a purplish color there. And let's see if I want kind of like, and sometimes it's hard, you know, you have to just kind of add and subtract. I kind of like this color echoes her dress, but then this color is a complementary color. So, you know, it could go either way, folks. So I'm going to say right now, I'm going to lay that out. Graphics also makes of course, now I'm not going to be able to find it, metallic shrink plastic in gold and silver. And sometimes you can use, not sometimes, anytime you like, you can use punches with it and get these little great metallic plastic pieces. Sorry, I just put lotion on and it looks like my hands are gross, but it's not. It's lotion. It's not sweaty palms. Though it is a little nerve-wracking to film these videos. But you can punch and cut out little crowns for your people, which is kind of fun. Let me zoom in just a tad, because they are kind of small. So now that I know I kind of want to use, I think that's who I want to do. I want to use her for my subject of my collage. Now I want to figure out what paper I want to use. Let's set those aside. You also want to make sure before you start working with these, after you bake them, I have gotten in the habit of just immediately spraying it with a coat or 2 of Krylon matte sealer, acrylic sealer. You can also do glossy if you're a glossy kind of person. I'm not judging. But you definitely want to seal this, because even though this has been baked and this is a pretty serious coating, you know, you really can't scratch it off, you can still affect that ink because it's water-based ink. So you want to seal it, so if somebody does put your magnificent creation on their refrigerator and then drops, you know, the milk carton and it splashes up, it's not going to affect your collage that you have sealed and would be, you know, just wipe that off. It's not a problem. So let's look through the papers here. And again, I just kind of go back and forth with putting them on top. And this is a great way to kill a couple of hours. If you're looking for something to do, I can spend hours doing this. I have old dictionary pages, ledger pages, banknotes, music, prescriptions, just all sorts of things. So right now I want to find something for my backing paper. I kind of like this that has the difference in the size of the writing with her size. And so what I like to do is find an edge. You can hold it up to, I'm going to cheat, look over here and hold it up to the light, kind of get an idea. Then I just fold it over so that I have that edge marked. And then I go ahead and try to cut out a fairly straight line. Because what I like to do, you can attach this with, if you're going to use a adhesive from a bottle, I like to use this neutral pH adhesive by Lineco. It's made for bookbinding, and you get, I found, the least amount of wrinkling as far as adhesives go. But when I'm really cheating or trying to, you know, knock out a couple of these, I will just use the Scotch Super 77 multi-purpose adhesive, and I will spray my board with a nice coat of this and then lay my paper down. So now you probably go, oh, I see why she did that. I can line up and push my paper down, and I don't have to worry about it being, you know, oh, did I get it on straight? If I have something to kind of line it up again, it helps a lot. So shake it really well. And I'm going to go off screen to spray this because it'd be a hot mess otherwise. Okay, so I have sprayed this with the adhesive. It's nice and sticky. And actually, this reminds me, probably if you're using old papers, if you want to give them spray with the cat just jumped off my lap and took the microphone with him. Okay, if you want to spray your paper with some of that acrylic sealer as well, it'll keep your, like this one, you have pencil on it. Pencil won't smear as you try and gracefully and gently burnish that down so it sticks. Now you can flip this over and use an X-Acto blade, trim it out, which of course my mat's over there, and it's my grungy one. Like so. And then to clean up that edge a little bit, I'll take some 220 grit sandpaper. And just sand along that edge. You want to sand down and away, not up and away like Superman, because that would, Superman just has to worry about his cape and stuff. This would lift your paper if you went up, up and away, down and away from the paper edge. See, now you have a fantastic little background all ready to go to build on. Now I do, if I have, generally, it's not a hard and fast rule, if you have little personages on your pieces, they can certainly be floating. I mean, you know, she's going to have wings after all, so she could be flying. But sometimes I like to anchor them in place. And so I will take, like you could take a different piece of paper and put it across the bottom, and that be something for her to stand on. You can use, I've kind of gotten into these Dresden trims lately, which are foiled paper. It looks really pretty and comes in a variety of designs. What else? Oh, look. Ticket, an old ticket, which actually I really like that because it fits perfectly. Might like that. Washi tape. You know, there's a variety of washi tapes out there. I know, shocking. There is a lot of washi tape out there. I'm just newsflash. But you could take, you know, some washi tape and put it across the bottom. You could also, you know, use tape and frame it out. I mean, just all sorts of little things. That's why these are just so much fun, because, and that you can be quite the time sink, because it's just fun to create, make little vignettes, if you will. So I actually think, let's see how it looks with her wings. What did I have? This little silver crown. And now, do I want to put now a little complimentary butterfly? Is that going to get too crazy? It's too crazy. Got a bee. The bee's too big. See, it's these decisions people have at a flower. Oops. I know you're hollering at me. No, no, go back to the whatever looks good. I think these hard decisions in life. I guess I don't have I probably do over in my box of shrink plastic a little tiny. I'll go look for a little moth of those, but I'm thinking I still want something to finish it off. How about that? A little bit of silver. I like that. What do I like? Which one do I like? I like the fancy one. Oh wait, I've got, see, that's the thing too, is I have all sorts of little gizmos, not gizmos, little decorative elements that I see and that I then hoard a lot. She could hold a little star. That might be kind of fun. Now what's on the bottom of that? There, I think we found our winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, so now all that you have left is the assembly. When I am putting my little plastic people together, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more again now that we can. My all-time favorite is the Ultimate by Crafter's Pick, and if I can get it open, I like to just use a brush and maybe a scrap of paper. That's a nice scrap of paper. A scrap of paper that you won't use. Just this little piece of plastic. That's way too much, but it doesn't take a lot. Again, these have all been sealed because even I found using this a water-based adhesive, if this kind of oozes out, which it's prone to do, it can alter the color of your final project. What I like about this is that it sets up so quickly, and they tell me, the warning label says it's water-based and non-toxic, so when I get it all over my hands, I'm not freaking out as much as I might otherwise. But it has a good hold to it, and you can see I can already, no, I'm not going to shake her really hard, but you can manipulate your piece fairly quickly. I try and, you know, I never like adhesive to be showing, so I like the eye spots on this moth. It's one of my favorites. Also, what I like about using the shrink plastic on this is it adds a dimensionality. It's not completely two-dimensional. Sometimes on this metallic shrink plastic, when I'm getting ready to glue it onto something, and this is why I don't do my nails, because now I'm worried that I'm going to sandpaper my nails and wreck the nail polish. Usually I don't care. I just dive right in. But rough it up a little bit. If you get your nails in there, it's all right. Again, just a spot, a dot. And I don't mind if crowns are a bit cattywampus. I like them to have a little attitude. And I just noticed it looks like right there I didn't. Can you see right there? It looks like I forgot to cut that little bit of white out. And sometimes you can go back in and trim it out. I think I had one cut in and just didn't go back and make that final cut. Of course, that messed with my... Yeah. And as far as sticking this down, yes, I'm going to practice what I preach and use some of this adhesive, the Line Co adhesive, if I have any left in here. Oh, yeah. It's in there. And of course, I need a wide brush that isn't within easy reach. All right, let's see if I can cheat and all the way out to the edges, because this is going to be an exposed piece, if you will. You don't want the edges to lift. And I suppose you could spray this with the spray adhesive as well, but the front. Wow, must have been nice to go to the theater for 60 cents. What's it, like $10 to go see a movie these days? That's matinee. It's $35 if you want to go prime time. $50 for popcorn. All right. And while we're here and we have the adhesive out, oops. This is a little bit thicker, and I think I am going to try and use my, what's it called? What do I want to do? Because this, whoops, did I do that all off camera? This is embossed, and so actually it dips down into it. So I think I want to use my thicker adhesive so that it gets down in there and helps hold. I'm never very patient on this. But it's gonna look so good and be worth the effort, right? Oh, what a mess. You know, I think I need to go look up and see what the best way for adhering Dresden is, because, you know, somebody has to have written about it at some point. Blogged, YouTube videoed, something. This works, but now I have to go in, because I'm me, and get that extra adhesive out. It dries clear, so, you know, if you don't if you're already recovered from your perfectionism, or you never suffered from it, good on you. Now, I do want to come and trim off, again, these little bits, edges, Can't find that small mat. Just make sure and press down really hard and give that a, because that Dresden is kind of, ouch, thick. So take that ticket kind of stuck over on one side as well. Alrighty, good enough. And you know, I think I might, to make that edge, let me make sure, because my, yep, see, good thing I checked, because that's a bad one. I want to draw a line just to help delineate the edge of that. Right, she's been sitting there. Oops, lost her star, which is clear, which is going to be fun to try and find. So that, I was going to say it's probably stuck to my hand. There it is. All right. And yeah, this is my art life. I can't leave bottles open. I need to put caps on immediately. I can't have open things of adhesive around. Let's put a little bit of the Ultimate on here. It has a little stickum on it, but I don't trust that to work long term. And sometimes it's good to have tweezers to help out with the tiny things. And then we're going to use her wings, pop her up from the magnet pretty well, but you know, if you wanted to, you could put something else under her, but I don't want her to stick out too much. I think that's enough. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back of her wings. And do I want her, put her kind of off to one side. With her little feet. Let's see. And I think one more thing. So I love stickles. It's perfect for adding just a little bit of glitz to your pieces without being just, oh my God, you have glitter on it. Which, you know, some days it's a glitter kind of day. But I'm thinking I don't like this crown. It's just a little too plain. So I'm going to, I can't find the whole bag of stickles that I have. This one, it's probably a reason it was sitting in my, it's not my favorite. Seems very watery. Usually you can put out and really see the, I think this isn't silver, but a gunmetal, so it's not as sparkly. But we'll give it a go anyway. Well, at least it has a little bit more. But that will dry, and you'll get a little bit of sparkle up there on her crown as well. So then the final step in your magnet making experience is going to be taking these Pro Mag flexible magnets, ceramic magnets, and getting just one because they all want to come with you. Again, using our Ultimate adhesive. It doesn't take a whole lot because remember it's probably gonna squish out the side. And you know, you don't want to go over that because that's where you're supposed to sign it. So I'm just gonna stick it right here in the middle. And I'll probably leave that. It's going to dry clear again. Boy, you know, I thought maybe I was just off, but I look at the back of this and this is really not cut very well. If this is the label looks pretty straight. The machine was off that day, so I'm glad it wasn't just me. I kept looking at it thinking it seems a little skewing towards the trapezoidal, but and so then when you know have it on your magnetic surface, it's cool because it stands up off the surface. So, and if you wanted to, you could take maybe a Krylon pen and or a paint pen, metallic paint pen, and do the edges to get really fancy. But there is magnet, magnificent, magnificently magnetic. So I'm going to make a few more with some different pieces, but I'll probably speed those up. Oh wait, I just saw a squirrel. I have this old tatted lace that has an end to it somewhere. That's a nasty end. Ugh. Might be too much with the I'm gonna say it's too much because I have all this going on down here. I don't know. I'm gonna set it aside and think on it. Sometimes you have to kind of live with something for just a bit. I don't know if I pulled it up. All right, I'm gonna put it on. I can hear you yelling at me, or maybe you're saying to take it off. No, I can't take it off. We're not that kind of video. But I do want to use the one that's not stained. It's antique sometimes. You get questionable things on their surfaces. So again, I'm going to use the ultimate on this. And it looks like if I go to this one here, I'll cover my... And yes, I should have done this before I put her all together, but you know, sometimes you just got to go with the flow and work when you notice things. And I think that happens for me quite a bit in these assemblages, that you think you're done, or you see, put glue everywhere, but and this one that wants to flip over. The whole thing wants to flip over. Cat hair. It's going to be fun to try and press that down. It wasn't too painful, just a little bit painful. Okay, and just snip that little thing bugging me. All right, there she is. So, you know, that's a pretty nice magnet to give to somebody. Hopefully they will appreciate all of the effort that you put into it. All right, I'm going to make a couple more and kind of speed through, but just because, you know, it's really fun to watch somebody gluing and cutting and what have you, so I'll speed it up for you. But just to give you some more ideas. So anyway, see you in a few. Okay, I'm going to stop here because I want to show you something. Birds don't have big foreheads. So sometimes it's very difficult to put a hat on a bird, which is probably why they don't wear them very often, because they know they don't have foreheads. We silly humans keep forgetting. So actually, let me back up. I'm going to adhere my mushroom directly to my background. Now I said I was going to speed through, but I ran into a speed bump and wanted to show you how to resolve the issue that you might encounter, just like I did. Okay. So I want him to perch on the mushroom, but as you can see, it's got a little tilt going because the mushroom is not flat because it is shrink plastic. What you can do in my nature, I don't throw away my scraps of shrink plastic either when I cut them, because you can use them for a variety of things, such as if you, sorry, I'm off camera here, cut little pieces of shrink plastic and put them in the oven and bake them, and put everything back in the glue. You can shrink them and have little tiny shims, which you can use to build up your pieces so that things will be on the level. So I know that the mushroom is one thickness of this. So if I put a piece under the owl, he will now be able to sit, and it'll be stuck to my finger. He will be on the same plane or above it as above the mushroom, so he won't be tilting. Kind of the same thing goes with his crown. What I'm going to do is I will still put some adhesive on the crown and his head, but I'm going to have the crown up on 2 pieces, right? Because you want it to be even. Which is that going to, am I doing my math right? 2 plus 2 is 1 plus 1 is 2. So let's see how I want to do this. I'm going to stick these 2 little pieces together. So, and let's go ahead and that piece, stick that. Get one of the bigger pieces that I have. It's great I can talk to myself because the mic's right here and just mumble as I go along. All right. Let's go ahead and glue that one down. I know you might be saying, oh, this is a lot of thinking, but I'm sorry, it's kind of what I do. I like engineering and solving problems, so have him. And I like when things go over the edge. In fact, I did a whole class called Over the Edge. Check it out if you find that you like this. Little workshop here. Okay, so let's put a little bit more. Let's see if I measured right. Yay! And a little bit more there where it kind of meets with his non-existent forehead. And you know, it would help if you put adhesive on the back of that you're sticking to your base. So much thinking, but again, it'll be worth it. Scooch it around where it needs to be. Generally, I have a clean paintbrush ready to go to, because otherwise you're just putting glue goobies back on the. And it is a good thing this stuff dries clear, let me tell you. There. So again, kind of cool. He's at different levels. We got his crown sitch all taken care of. And I was kind of tinkering, maybe putting a couple more mushrooms. Kind of like that. Let's go for it. Oh, let's not drop it in the... Just a loose cannon with this adhesive. So, you know, if you were going to write a little bit to glue everywhere, you know, a little piece to go with your, say you're giving it to a friend and you want to kind of explain your process, and you could start by saying that the moral of the story is right there. That's a moral. Okay, bad joke. I work alone a lot, probably for good reason. All right, that's fun. So now you have your owl. Oh, I did want to show you one other thing while I have it in regular time here. As soon as I find them. It's one of my favorite tools here. These are metal punches by the Beadsmith. It comes in a 1.5 and a 1.2 or 0.25 depending on which ad you're looking at. But wouldn't it be cool if we could use brads on these? I mean, that would just be so awesome, but how are we going to do that? Well, if you take the metal punch, since cardboard's a little softer than metal, what? Just pop a hole in that puppy. And then your brad shall go through. Open it up on the back. Wow, is that one stuck together? Again, why I don't wear nail polish, because I'm sitting here afraid to mess it up, but we all know that that's pretty much a lost cause, so I should just go ahead and mess it up. That one seems to be glued together, which is entirely possible. These are by Recollections. Let's try that again. Oh my God. What's wrong with these? They want me to... They're the enemies of my do-it-yourself manicure. All right, you know what? For the sake of, I'll come back and do that later. You would open that up, and so now you have a nice little brad. So you could punch a bunch of holes and brad it up, and so they have all kinds of cool decorative brads now. But again, pop your magnet on the back. 10 of them. But as you can see, I mean, it really doesn't take much time at all to make pretty nifty teachers' gifts. They have file cabinets in their rooms, don't they? Teachers' gifts, Mother's Day. I mean, you could use your own family photos and do some fun little magnets, but there you go. All right, I think I'm going to maybe do one more fast one because I got all the information out of the way. So you just sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Well, I hope you enjoyed our time together exploring the possibilities of shrink plastic and the creation of magnetic artworks. I had a wonderful time. I hope that you will post what you make with these ideas. I would love to see what you come up with. I have a group on Facebook called Stripe Stocking Studio that you're welcome to join. That's where people who've taken my tutorials or workshops post pieces that they've made, and we all get to share in different tips and techniques and kind of just brainstorm and think, oh, I really like that idea, and oh wait, what if they did this, or what if I put the spin on this? So it's a lot of fun, a lot of possibilities, and I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll share it with your friends, family, cats and dogs, guinea pigs. And all right, until next time, thanks.